Hey, Moxie family. I am excited to introduce you to one of my favorite people and one of our only, I think, double podcast guests. So, high praise that we invited you back and we're excited to chat with you again. This is my friend Mark, who runs his own business and his I think I read from your website you've been doing this for 3 decades, which
Four
is
decades
absolute
now.
4 decades. You got to
Four
update
decades.
your about
Mm.
us page. 4 decades, which I love. So I would love if you would to start. I want to hear about what did you want to be? Like if you can think back to when you were young, what did you want to be? And has that led at all into now kind of what you've done as your career and your business has evolved over the last, few decades here?
Yeah, okay. So when I was 16, just before I left school, 'cause I left school bang on 16, like you could do in England at the time. I wanted to be in computers. I wanted to run, either be like an IT director or run my own business. I had aspirations for that, but knew that I had a long way to go before that would happen because back in 1986, computers had only been out, what, say, properly 5, 10 years or something like that. There was no internet then, there was nothing. Even spreadsheets were based on a program called Lotus 123, I think. So I stepped out into the big world of what's the word for it now? I worked for my local council, so the town hall. Went straight into an apprenticeship there for 2 years in computer studies, and I was doing a part-time course at college at the same time, and then evolved into using the computers. And then I moved into when I was just coming up for 20, I moved into call center technology. So I ran couple of call centers, not the staff, but the actual technology with the phone system and routing calls inbound and outbound. And I did that for about 20 years at different sides. So going through financial services mainly. So loans, insurances, and things like that. They all have big call centers. People would ring in and that, and then eventually got to 2008, and the credit crunch came over there. By that time, I'd reached the heights of being an IT director for a financial services firm. So I'd been there for 3 years at that level. So within 20 years of me leaving school, I was already where I wanted to be. Really happy, cruising along, nice holidays, all these sort of nice things. And literally within, I would say, 30 days, the rug was completely pulled, as it did back in 2008. Those who are not old enough to remember it properly, to take a look, because Lehman Brothers, I think in the States, was the start of it. It had a knock-on effect in the UK. And we literally got a phone call from our biggest supplier of money. We used to lend somebody else's money, and they said, "That's it, done. No notice, nothing. That's it. Don't lend any more money at all." And that was it. We had 3,500 staff in the call center, and we had to let them all go. And we went down to about 10 staff because it shrunk that quickly. And then they closed it. So I thought, you know what? I built myself up. I built all this reputation. It was just in tatters, and I was not in control of it. I was not. I was literally outside of. I was at risk all the time. So I decided to myself back in 2008, I'm going to build a website company, and that's what I did. Started to build a website company. Ran that as I still do today, but it's evolved. It's evolved from hand-coded websites into Joomla, if anybody remembers Joomla at all, then onto WordPress, and now we're all building in Claude. Still doing a little bit of WordPress, but we're all building in Claude code these days, and that's where I am today. I've got myself 3 businesses, so I not just run this company. I run another one that I won a ton of awards for, which was what my last podcast was about. And I started a new company as well, because the evolution of the reason I see it now is that websites, and this is where I like to be in control. I've seen that websites are going to die ultimately because people can just go to Claude and build one now relatively quickly. You don't need to do one properly. You do need somebody, but some of my customer base, which are small plumbing companies, people like that, one-man bands, as they might, I don't know if you know them, like one-man bands over there, but single owner businesses, they can just get somebody to do it for them. The kids are pretty tech savvy these days as well, so it's like, oh, I've got my son to build it for me, it's great. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So we've evolved into looking at what we call database reactivation services, using some automation through text messages and some other bits and pieces. But the bit I like about that is I'm in control of that. I made that decision 3 years ago to move away from what I'm doing, not completely, but to just like merge across. So now that side of the business represents probably about 30% of the company's revenue, where 2 years ago it didn't exist. And I think that by the end of this decade, I won't be building websites anymore. I will be using a lot of automation to help people turn their businesses around in terms of the customer relationship management, using it properly and better than what they can do today.
I think it's so incredible, just the arc that you shared in that story of kind of the theme where you learn and you iterate and you're always kind of on this leading edge of like, okay, I can see that this thing is coming. Do you feel like that in your life, where like, how have you so effectively been able to say like, oh, this is what's coming, and I need to be, like what I'm doing needs to morph into this new thing?
Yeah, so it's talking to your customers a lot and listening to them is the first thing, and listening to your prospects, and looking at your business. I mean, the thing for me is there's a big saying that I say to a lot of business people is you should be working on your business, not in your business, because you need people to be in your business, and you should be like I have a personal dashboard that I look at every day, and it tells me where my numbers are in terms of like leads, sales, where my production pipeline is up to, how much money I've got coming through that way, and I can see it. And what we do is we track trends within that throughput. And if we can see, and we've seen for some time now that we're not winning as many website deals. So the difference we've had is we're now winning higher end ones, more complicated websites, but we might only win 2 or 3 of them a month, where if I go back 3 years ago, I was closing simple websites at the rate of 2 or 3 a day. And it's just completely changed over that time. And you see it fall off and you think, well, why is it changing? And you look and you listen to your customers and you talk to them, and they say, like I said to you before, I've got one guy who said his son built the website for him in Claude or ChatGPT or something on his own. And I'm like, okay, that's a threat to my business. But it's also an opportunity as well. You can't see it always like as negative. It's like, right, this is an opportunity for me to learn from that, and to go, right, I need to change my business. I need to move it and morph it. And the benefit I have is that I'm pretty agile. I mean, I have 8 staff behind me. We're all pretty agile. We're not set in our ways. We're not that kind of company, oh, we've always done it like that. Because I think that, for me, a modern business these days needs to be very agile, constantly changing, constantly reinventing itself. Your customers, your competitors, and the customers that you lose are the ones that are the best ones to learn from as well. Why did they go? Or why didn't you win them? If they will give you that feedback and give you that time, give them your ears, listen to them, because they'll tell you where you went wrong, what you didn't do, or why they didn't buy from you. And then use that as feedback and go, right, what do I do to change my business? How can I make it better than what it is? And if it means you've got to reinvent your business a little bit, don't reinvent the wheel straight away. Morph into it, test things.
I do want to, you've mentioned you've got, these 3 businesses, you've got this kind of wide client base. And so we've had this chat a little bit before, but I want to get your thoughts on, I'll paraphrase a little bit that you have said, like getting one small niche is not the way that you go and approach your business. So talk about how you have sort of looked at like this person, like this customer still fits into my client base, even if they're not like part of, you've cast a wide net. And I'd love for you to talk about that decision.
Yeah. So a lot of people talk about niching or niching down on a particular market, which I think there's nothing wrong with that. The problem that you've got again there is you putting all your eggs in one basket. So if you niche down, for example, let's say you decide to approach the restaurants within a certain county or town, and that town has a big downturn and all those restaurants close, your market's gone. It's just obliterated, and that can happen very, very, very quickly. And the thing for me is, when I talk to people who say, well, I've got a company that specializes in my industry, and I say, that's really good, but they will come with industry prejudices or industry habits. What we do is we think outside the box. So we might come to a sports shop, or we may be talking to an accountancy firm that we've never done. Accountancy firms, for example, that's one we don't do. And I would say to them, well, we can bring our years of experience of working in these other industries and bring those ideas to your business and use that. So keeping your net cast wide gets you away from that problem where if you back the wrong niche, even if you back the right niche now, in 3 years' time, that niche might not be there.
I so appreciate the perspective on that. Give us a quick hit for the best piece of advice you could give to a business owner in 10 seconds or less. I won't time you.
Okay, so the best advice I could give to a business owner is know your numbers, know where those numbers are coming from, and keep your eye on them every single day. Simple. There is an old saying in the UK, and I think they might have an equivalent in the States, but if you look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves. So it might be in your case, if you look after the pennies, the dollars will look after themselves. So if you're focused on the numbers, everything else will just look after itself, because you'll know with the numbers where your business is going wrong, and you'll know quickly. But you've got to get your head out of the business and
I think
look
that's
at it.
such good advice to make time, in your business to do those really important things, because it's so easy, I think, especially, if you feel like you're hustling, you're just kind of doing the work, you're going along, it's so hard to kind of look up, like you were just saying. And what an important piece of advice to say, like, okay, we're looking at what's happening in your business and using that to like make really great and informed decisions. I love that. Excellent. Well, we've talked about a lot of things. What is there anything else that you feel like, okay, if I was maybe going back to your earlier self, or just other, small business owners, entrepreneurs, freelancers that you have had an opportunity to talk to, if you had one thing that you could say to them, what is something that you hope that they would hear from you from, these years of experience that you've already shared with us?
All right. So one of the biggest perspectives I give to people is quite a lot of businesses are only as good as the last sale, unless they've got a subscription business. And even that, they're only as good as the last subscription that signed up, or as good as the last cancellation. Subscription businesses are great because you give you that surety that the first of the month, that you've got, how many thousands of dollars coming through the door. When you're on a web design business where you're selling a website for X amount of money, once that's done, that's it. But what I would say is one of the biggest things to sell is to what they call sell the sizzle. I don't know if you've ever heard that saying before. So you're selling the future, not the features. So for me, when I talk to a business owner about, let's say I'm just going to sell them a website, I'm not going to tell them it's WordPress and it's mobile friendly and it loads fast. What I'm going to say to him is it's going to grow his business. It's going to increase his conversion rates by 15% from what it is at the moment. His customers are going to become more loyal and order from him because the order system is quick and easy. And as a result of that, you'll be able to grow your business. And people talk about ROAS and ROI, the return on investment. That's future selling. And that's the way it works. Now, to pull that into a psychology piece, this might sound quite British, but when we go to fairs and places, and it's probably the same I think in New York they have the street food vendors. So you've got the guys on the corner doing the hot dogs. We have burger vans over here. What is the one thing that they're always cooking? Do you know? I'll tell you why. Onions. They're
Oh,
always
okay. Yeah.
cooking
Yeah.
onions. So do you know why they're always cooking onions? Right? Okay. So if you're at home tonight, right, put some onions in a pan and start to fry them, and see how long it is before somebody in your house will come to your kitchen and say, "What are you cooking?" Okay. Now those onions, okay, that's marketing. Okay, they will just throw those onions in the bin. They won't give them to you. You'll see if you go to these burger stores in England, they've got this big griddle and there's onions in the corner, burnt to hell, and they just cook them till they burn because what they want is the smell. And what they'll do is that smell brings you. So what they've done is they've sold the future to you. They've sold you this. Oh, I can sense. Oh, I'm going to eat. I can picture in my head. I'm going to eat it. So by the time you get to the counter, it's not a question of whether you're going to buy or not. It's whether you're going to have a double cheeseburger or a triple cheeseburger. It's done. And that's what you got to think about with the way that you appeal to people is you need to sell them a future. And that's the simple thing. And that is, you're not outdoing your competition. You're not, I think there's things to avoid, which is slagging off your competition or being, I'm trying to think of the right word. So being negative about your competition, being anti other things, I don't like this, I don't want to do that. It's like, don't matter, And the other big piece of advice I give to anybody who's got competitors, don't worry about them. Don't just ignore them. Doesn't matter. Just focus on you. You do the best. You make your business do the best that you can do, and it'll be fine. Your competitors are there. Okay. The right kind of people. Now, if you want to get the right people who are going to be loyal, who are going to spend good money with you, going to pay you on time, those type of customers, they care about how you care about them. Not how you slag off the competition and say they're bad or you're dissing people, because they'll just say, right, well, I'll treat you the same way. Or people that buy from you dissing the competition aren't loyal people. Simple as that. They will, the minute the competition offers them something better or the competition tells them how bad you are, what's that customer going to do? It's going to go to them.
Yeah.
You're not winning loyal customers. That's another sort of nuggets I can give you from many years experience.
Well, Mark, thank you so much. So many great pieces of advice. We so appreciate your time, and thanks so much for coming back to the Moxie podcast.
Oh no, you're very welcome. It's been fun.